Welcome everyone to Top's Daily Grind. We've graduated to a whole new level.
Should we just stay here awkwardly?
That's the worst idea.
Everybody said bring an expert, and we brought an expert.
You guys got a new intro?
No, we're not doing the podcast no more.
Yeah, you all started out really strong, and then it derailed really quick. I'm like,
This is going to be the last time you hear this.
All right, everybody, welcome to Top's Daily Grind. This is episode number 146. We're in Las Vegas, so of course we had to have Jessie from Vegas Forge on.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Can we say what we're doing here, or is it top secret? Top secret.
I don't know.
I don't know if we can say what we're doing here.
Well,
yet.
we're here for collaboration. Let's say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
But we can say we're stopping by.
Yes,
yeah, but we're
yes,
gonna be
that part we
and
can
you guys
say.
will be. Everybody will be seeing what we're doing. We just can't bring it up yet. But
Yeah.
you guys will see what we're doing. It's a big collaboration between three big companies.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, this is going to be fun. I was excited when they said yes. They agreed to my spiel that I threw out, and I talked to Jessie about it a little bit too. Back in the day, when we were sort of bringing stuff for the custom shop for us, or whatever we're gonna do. But I'm like, we can probably fly out. We can see what you guys do and sort of put it in the whole spiel of the custom stuff. And it sort of worked out. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And since you haven't really heard our show, we're not really
There's no
interviewing.
format.
It's not really an interview. It's
Yeah.
more like we're just hanging out and talking. So
Perfect.
Whenever you got something, just go ahead and interrupt us. It's fine. We're used to it.
It's not an interview.
It's not.
just,
Yeah.
we're hanging out. Drinking
It's
a
more
beer.
of a relaxed atmosphere, so we're not really going to grill you with
And
anything.
Craig has a mouth on him, so everybody's used to it.
Yeah.
Why me? Why do you always say that it's me?
Because it's you.
Craig.
I don't know. Okay. That might be true.
That's the word on the streets. I heard that.
Yeah. So
You're the only one that has a sticker. Fuck Craig Army. So.
That's true. I deserved it too, to be honest. So Vegas Forge, you are the owner, and do you still make the steel, or are you more just running things now?
So it's been a while since I've been down there making it, but things are changing. We have some people. When people are in or out, then I have to go back down
You
there.
have to go back and show them.
Yeah. So we lost one of our guys had to move. He moved on to a new career, and then you guys know Jeff.
Yep.
Jeff's moved on to the gun stuff that we're doing.
Oh,
So I'm kind of filling in all those positions in the meantime. So I'm sure I'll be down there.
Is he going to be traveling with you to shows stuff? Huh?
Yeah, he'll still do shows. So Jeff's my partner too.
Yeah.
But he's moving. He got married up in Utah, so he's going back just to
Okay.
raise his family and stuff.
right on.
So we have some changes going on, but it honestly is nice to go back down there. Like being up in the office,
It is,
it's nice being in the office. Then you get comfortable, and then you get lazy, and then you get sad. Then you go back down there and work hard, and it's like this is probably where I'm.
Yeah, I agree.
Need to be.
Like for me, running the day-to-day thing, it's stressful. It's fun. Like I'm never gonna say it. I hate it. No, I don't hate it, but it's stressful. And then I get into my custom shop when I go to make a knife, and my wife has to call me like, "All right, you need to come
Time
home.
to stop.
It's
Right.
Yeah, it's
midnight."
time for dinner.
It's midnight, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And you just get zoned out and you just keep going, and everything just flows so normal because you've been doing it for so long. Like for me, I've been doing it for so long, so it just flows, and the next step that's coming after you finish this, and there's some parts of making that suck, but then there's the fun parts that I enjoy, and you just lose time, seriously.
Yeah.
And I bet that's something that you have too.
Yeah, my favorite thing was working through the night. Yeah. Before I got married, even went like a year into marriage, she was cool with me working through the night a lot. But that was my time. It was like no one's around, no one's calling. I could just be there all night, doing whatever I need to do. in the
More
shop.
productive.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you don't have those. Yeah, don't have those interruptions.
Yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, I just love just being there by myself. Maybe I'm just a solo kind of guy. But
Loner.
yeah.
Did you find yourself like being more creative, or just getting more caught up when you would kind of just zone out and be there for hours?
Probably more just caught up. The creative thing's always been easy for me. That's like the easy part of the business. The hard part's like the consistency, the discipline. That stuff's
Okay.
like the daily work you got to do every day with the the business side of it. But yeah, I would just zone out and just enjoy I'd be building some new machine that we needed or doing something like that. I wasn't normally forging all night because that was I mean, sometimes we were. A lot of times I was in the beginning. But mostly it was building something. I like building things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for us that don't know, how did Vegas Forge start? Like, what was the process?
The Vegas Forge starting?
Yeah.
We worked for a guy named Rob Thomas. And so we did that for a couple years, and then it was kind of a hobby turned business for him. And then after a couple years, we just branched out on our own and started Vegas Forge, and that was it. He had got a promotion in his other job that he had, and there was clearly going to be some time issues of him being able to be there.
Was that a side gig for him more than
Yeah.
it was for right?
He had a full-time job the whole time that we were that we were learning, but we learned a lot from him. We kind of were running the whole thing without him because he would come, a couple days a week. He'd show up. So yeah, after a couple years, he actually resigned so we worked for him. He resigned. We were partners with him, but he resigned on his own, and then we weren't sure what to do. We thought about making knives. We took about a month of looking into that and realized we have no idea how to do that. And then, we're already set up for Damascus. Let's just keep doing this. So that was, we shut down that company, started Vegas Forge, and everything just kind of naturally just took off.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, I'm not gonna say, oh, Jesse's here and I'm gonna jerk him off, but Vegas Forge, when you hear about Vegas Forge steel, Damascus, like it's top of the line. It's one of the top of the line Damascus steels out there.
It's good to hear.
And so, and it is, and that's why that's why when I approached you, I'm like, I want to use your Damascus, and I'm gonna use only yours, because people sort of when you tell them like it's Vegas Forge steel, they're like, oh, okay, cool.
There's a lot of
Instead
trust.
Yeah,
already.
no,
No,
immediately trust
absolutely.
it.
Just that.
Yeah.
They know that, one, I'm not getting cheap shit. And two, made in America, which, is
What's
high
the other
for-
one that's made in Texas?
Oh, that's Ramjo.
Oh, I'm convinced that there's a factory in Pakistan that just has the word Texas on it. It's just named Texas. Because all of them tell you that that's where they're from. All of them. I've never gone to a show and been talking to one of those guys and had him be like, oh, yeah, we're in like Ohio. Never. It's Texas. It's always Texas. It's like the only state they know. And so that's what they say. So that's my theory.
You think they tell them, like, it's the biggest state in the U.S., just say it's Texas?
Probably.
It has to be
What
something like that.
goes through your mind whenever you see their stuff selling for like $10 for
Like Pakistani stuff.
I've never seen that at shows. You guys see that at shows a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Not at like a
Not
email.
shows that
Not
we're
at
not
an
like
email.
shade or something.
right?
But like
a lot of
emails,
emails.
yeah.
But when we did the Crossroads shows,
Yeah.
people would buy a Damascus knife, for $25 and come show us like, why am I going to pay, $100, $150 for your knife? This I paid $25. It's Damascus and it's the same size as your blade. And of course you want
And
to
then
go
you look
off,
at
but
it and
then
you're
you
like,
sort
bro,
of,
that's etched. It's not even Damascus.
yeah, I'm like that's
Like lasered.
that's but
It's
yeah,
something, but-
it's hard to tell them what you really think, because of course, I'm not going to talk shit on anybody, but
I guess they're doing their thing.
yeah, they're doing
Whatever that
But,
thing is.
people are happy paying $25 for something.
Yeah, so regular
Dominating,
gun
yeah.
shows, we'll see a lot of it. Where was the other? There was a show that was pretty big that we saw it at.
The one
It
in
was-
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. That's
The 90s show.
the Great American Outdoor Show.
Yep.
They had a bunch of that shit. I think even the Safari Club had some.
What was that one we did in Denver?
The Tanner Gun Show.
That guy bought a tracker.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
somebody
he was like, "This
just-
was only $80."
Yeah, and he's like, and you guys are selling your, and he all he had was these high end folders. What was that? The big wide folders. What were they called?
Like the Medford folders?
Medford, yes.
Yeah.
He was selling Medfords, a bunch of micro tags.
Those were probably all fake too.
and Randall's, and then he had that tracker that he got that he thought it was one of the custom ones that Tops made, and so he's like $80. I'm like, yeah, you got fucked, and he's like, no, this is one of you guys' custom. I'm like, no, that's not ours. I'm like, that's a counterfeit, man. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna go look for that stuff, and I guess somebody walking.
He bought it at the show.
Yeah, so they brought it, and he's like, "This is a Topps custom one that everybody wants." I just need $80. I don't care about it, and so he thought he was ripping the guy off.
Yeah, he got
It
ripped
was
off
a-
majorly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see the emails all the time. People email us trying to sell knives, Damascus knives.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I get that probably once a week. There's something coming in.
Yeah,
we get several a week on like through our Instagram DMs and stuff like that.
You've never been tempted to get one just to see, just to test it,
Just to
or
see if it's
just to
any good?
like cut it in half.
I guess I just assume it's not going to be. But I mean, there's craftsmen everywhere, all over the world. It's not to say there's not great makers. I just don't. I got a whole pile of it in the shop, so
Yeah.
I never have. But
And see, like with me,
It'd just
like,
be
with
wasted
us at
money
the
for you.
beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I would buy counterfeits just to see what they were doing, and because they would copy us to the handle, to the screws, to the logos. You know, you would catch 200-300 of them with the same serial number. You know, stuff like that. And
They didn't know that number changed.
Yeah.
So they just
Yeah.
made a bunch of them with the same number.
And so we'd buy some just to see what they were doing, their sheath, and of course, you know, they were crap.
what was crap about them?
So like the handle was plasticky
The
on one
handle
of them,
was
like
plastic.
the field crafts?
It wasn't. Yeah, the handle was crap. The steel, it didn't even feel like steel. It wasn't heavy. You know, like Steel Eagle. Steel Eagle is one that they copied a lot. Steel Eagle, you grab a Steel Eagle, a top Steel Eagle, and they're heavy. Like you just want to shove it into, you know, a table. You want to chop something with it. And the other ones were real lightweight.
Yeah.
Big, but real lightweight.
The field crafts, the handle, you know, you can tell when something's 3D printed, right? It's got that kind of like shine. It had that shine just from the pictures.
yeah.
Usually the paint will always be a little different because they're not powder coating it. They're doing some other
Plastic
paint.
sheath instead of
The
Kydex.
sheets
like
will
just-
always be
just-
different. The weird thing with our copies is I've never seen one that's like a full on 1-to-1 match in terms of like size.
They're always a
So
little off.
a lot of Microtech fakes and a lot of these other fake folders, especially those.
Did you see
they're
this,
like one for one. They'll nail most of the details, and then you open it up and you're like, oh, that's not real. But with ours, they've never quite copied them just right.
Yeah. So it's been a little
So like
off.
going off pictures, not buying your stuff, maybe.
Mostly, I think, yeah.
So what's his name? The Tops collector.
Oh yeah. The dude,
He
the dude from Germany.
sent me one of the zero.
Does
Is that an
anybody try
Operator
to pass
7?
off as being you guys?
I've seen some people in China call our stuff something else. They call it Devin Thomas because Devin Thomas is popular in China. So I've seen that. We had to cut a deal because the guy kept calling our stuff that. I was like, well, part of the deal was you would
The Operator
call it what it
7.
was, but no, I haven't
that
seen
was-
that. I'd be
that was a
interested to see. I
recent-
actually was going to ask that. Have you guys seen someone claiming Vegas Forge on a fake knife? Because that, if you use our stuff, it's expensive. It kind of gives some credibility
Correct.
to your piece, and we have patterns that no one else is making. So I can see people using it for that, and I always wonder if they are. I just haven't seen it.
I've never seen.
Yeah, for me, I've never seen.
I've never seen anybody claim that they're
I've
you
never
guys.
claiming it. Yeah, I've never seen anybody claiming it.
We've seen a lot of Instagram pages try to say they're us. They'll just add an S,
Yeah,
or they'll add a space.
or a team. Or,
Yeah, and they use our logo. They use everything. Have you guys had that problem?
with anytime we
Social
do a
media.
giveaway, it's like I hope people, our customers and fans and everything, are savvy enough because they'll do VegasForge.team and I'll have 30
haven't seen
people
it.
message Instagram saying this is a scam as it's happening, and Instagram will send something back saying this is meets our guidelines, everything's fine.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like
Happens
with
a
us,
lot.
even our whistles will copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the whistle that goes.
I didn't
out
see
with
the whistle.
everything.
The whistle's right there.
Where do you think they're being made at?
Oh,
that
they're
one's probably China. Yeah,
definitely China.
Most likely.
And they like this one where they were pushing this one was in Germany, and a buddy of ours that we have down. He's a big collector of top knives. He's the one that sent it to me.
Yeah, his username's Tops Collector.
What's that?
Yeah, top
Yeah,
CDC.
his name's
Top
Okay.
CDC, and
Yeah.
he wanted to use our logo.
Did you
but
see
we
the
told
blood
him-
groove on that one? The fuller? The end of the fuller is like messed up.
Oh yeah.
See that?
It
near
droops.
the tip, it's like
It got sad.
it's like they screwed up and just let it, just like yeah, whatever.
But isn't that harder to do?
Not
Like if you're
necessarily.
machining it, wouldn't it be just easier to just go like that and lift up?
That's
Instead
what
of-
usually happens.
do
But
the
if your tool gets messed up, if your tool breaks or,
They even
or
put
you get like
they even put blackout edition on it.
yeah. Did they spell it right?
They got it right.
Nice. Okay. Good deal.
Made in the USA. They
That's
put it
definitely not made in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look at this handle. That's another. So usually the paint, the handles, and then the sheath. This sheath is actually not too bad of a copy, but it's like the D ring is bad. But see that handle just looks like plasticky. And then you can see these cutouts here. They're just real basic. And ours, they're done on this. They're done by hand. And so you get kind of a full contour on that. These don't have countersinks on them. We do that automatically with our barrels. This is like a straight line, and it should be a little curved.
And I get it. People that don't really
little details
that really
that you
see the knife like all the time, like we do, they would get confused. They would get confused. They would pay $90 for that. Thinking somebody's just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Even us, we've seen, we've done limited runs, and we see somebody just trying to get out of one of those $300-$400 knives for $150, and we know they're legit. We even my guys, we try to buy them. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are getting rid of something that is worth money.
Cost you that much to make.
Yeah, we've seen some guys there buy a Steel Eagle at a DI.
Yeah,
but it's a legit one. They paid like $15 for it.
like a secondhand store.
Yeah.
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 Oh, that's right.
second-
DI is.
Thrift store. DI's pretty
DI's here too.
specific. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they have a DI here?
At least it used to be. I know it was here. But yeah, Desert Industries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
yeah,
industries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bought a Steel Eagle there. One of the first ones.
One of the very first ones.
$15.
Old. They paid $15, and they brought it in to get it refurbished, right? To get it
Something like
reprocessed.
that, yeah.
And I traded them out for a brand new one. Yeah, and I put it up on my wall, and people that know about them, they're like, "How much you want for that?" I won't sell it.
Nice.
And people that know what I paid for it is like, "Come on, you paid $15 for it." I'm like, "No."
Okay, I didn't. But
Yeah.
Did you guys hear? When I was in, we went to Hawaii and went on some hike thing, and our tour guide had a Tops knife.
Oh, really?
I sent him a picture.
Oh, really?
Right on.
Oh,
Never
yeah. I do remember.
Some ex-military guy was doing he ran the tour guide thing. Yeah. But I was like, oh, what kind is that? Pulled it out. It's Tops. It's like,
Right on. Right on. That's cool.
Awesome. So in Vegas Forge, Jessie, who started? Was it you and your dad? You and
yeah, me and my dad. And then I think about a year in, we brought Jeff on. Jeff's been there, so it's been 7 years. Jeff's been there too.
the last time we came to your shop, how old were you guys? Like, I think it was when we were here. Remember Craig and I?
Yeah,
and I think you were
That was like
5-6 years ago.
16,
I think you guys were just a
2016,
year old,
2017.
like when you guys were running it.
Yeah, 16 is like when we started. When we took over. When we
so probably 2017 when we came down.
Yeah, because it was. I think you guys were barely.
I think it
Starting
was
it up.
I think you were in a different shop at the time. Have you moved shops?
no same spot.
So that
Oh, no, there's the same spot. Because when I looked up his address to look for the house, I did that Google Earth or whatever, and it was the same shop. I was making sure that it wasn't. But
It probably
How
looks
much-
different because I have a picture from 2016 of the shop from upstairs. And upstairs used to be like just upstairs storage. We had one level office, and now we have 2 levels off. We built out, but anyways, I have a shot from the shop from up top, and it's just like you don't realize how much equipment you add here and there.
yeah, slowly but surely it starts growing.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, you could have a big party there. You could ride go-karts in there in the beginning. And now it's like pretty,
probably definitely not doing that now.
no, it's pretty filled up. It's hard to, we always keep it open for a forklift and everything, but yeah, it was a big difference. I didn't even realize that until I looked at the picture the other day. So it would be interesting to see what you guys think when you come, if it looks any different.
Yeah, that was
absolutely.
probably 2017, maybe 2018.
Yeah, because I remember you showed me some. I think it was some putter heads.
Yeah, you guys were
starting to-
that's
prototyping
funny.
some stuff, I think, for Ping.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did some stuff with them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I remember you were just barely prototyping those out.
Yeah, that was a huge one. Ping, like, because we were nobody, right? And we still are nobody, but yeah, Ping calls us and wants some Damascus. It was like,
That's
Yeah,
that's
cool.
a big
And
deal.
I remember seeing those heads, like you guys just prototyping them out. I think the guys in Idaho Falls were helping you guys do something. I don't remember, but I remember it was for Ping. So
yeah, the golf stuff. Ping hasn't done a whole lot more after that, but golf guys are always using it.
yeah,
There's like small
badass.
custom makers that are just killing it, making their own. They got their production line and then their custom line, and
What do you say? You think more of your customer base is custom makers?
like number wise, yeah. As far as customers, definitely.
Yeah.
Like volume wise, like revenue wise, it's probably the bigger guys just
Yeah.
you place a bigger order, it covers probably what 50 guys might buy, but really what's always kept us in business, the times that we don't have the big orders, it's always the small guys.
The small guys.
Buying 1 or 2 billets, the shows, so we've always had this just consistent revenue coming in from just the small makers.
So out of the steel that you guys make, do you think most of it is going towards knives or like?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
know
ask.
there's some
I've seen
guys
a lot of
making-
stuff you guys did for guns too. For like 1911s, I've seen a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah, it's probably half knives and then half, I'd say it goes knives. We're launching a gun company. The website should be done. We're just waiting on the website to finish. It should be this week, next week.
Oh hell yeah!
So we have all the gun parts. We have Glock parts, AR parts, all out of our material.
And running them out of Damascus or just everything?
Damascus, Mokame, basically everything we make. The really gun thing hasn't been that huge. It's probably knives and then I'd say golf. And I'd say knives actually, then jewelry, mostly
Jewelry.
rings.
When we go tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get one of your clients for the golf. I'd love to have a.
You should get a giant chain, Damascus chain.
My dad's got my dad. So my dad
Take that as a no.
2 years ago.
No, I don't.
I think this stops.
I was just saying. I didn't mean to blow that up.
Did it start over? Okay. Sorry. We're making sure everything's working fine.
But my dad's making putters with those guys in Idaho. They're sick. So Vanta Golf.
I'm gonna have to talk to my brother.
Hell yeah!
They just made a batch of with the copper, carbon, nickel. And
Oh, right on.
it's like,
Damn.
it looks
So
good.
so I got
That's cool.
I got my my band. I got one a custom one made from a jeweler there in Idaho Falls, and I made it out of the stainless steel Damascus. And when you're working with them, they never tell you who's making. They're like, we'll do,
Yeah, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't.
At
And
first
I
they
try,
wouldn't.
And I try going around, and then I'm like, well, how long is it from here to Vegas? And he's like, well, no, they have to get it still. And then I'm like, so you're getting it from Vegas Forge?
And then he's like,
No,
How do you?
like we're not getting it from them. He's like, are they in Vegas? I'm like, I think he's like, well, Vegas Forge is in
Forge.
Vegas, and I just kept messing with him.
They would tell you where they're getting the steel from?
Yeah, they didn't.
No, they
want
didn't
to.
want to. They
Wonder
didn't
why.
want to. Yeah, and so
I don't know.
yeah, but I kept going like around and trying to. And then do you guys get it like in bar stock or? And he's like, well, the maker that makes them for us, I think he does. I'm like, do you know where he gets his steel from? I just kept going, and of course he didn't want to tell me, but maybe it was making
Once he got comfortable with you, though, he was a little more
he was, but
open,
he still
but
didn't
he
tell
still
me.
didn't tell you everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd want to say who you got it from so you didn't get it from
Yeah,
Pakistan or wherever.
yeah, but
I feel like it adds a lot of credibility, even if it's your nickels,
I think what the
Damascus or
jewelers
anything,
think,
at least you know where it's
I think
from.
what the jewelers think is, oh, if I tell them they're gonna go do custom,
gonna go
ones,
do it.
They'll go
Yeah.
make it themselves.
they'll go
or
make it
something,
themselves,
yeah.
and
Oh.
that's what I think that, and I think a lot of back in the day, a lot of OEM projects were like that as well. When like people had us make them, they didn't want us to put tops on them because they didn't want people to come look for us. Hey, can you make me this knife and be the competitor of this other company? That was one thing that we started giving them a discount if they would put our logo on.
Okay.
And nowadays, if depending on who the company is, if they don't have a logo, I won't make it.
Yeah.
Now we can sort of pick and choose. I'm not saying we're big and bad, but we have a huge following for our brand, but even for our OEM projects.
Plus, we're busy enough that we can
Yeah.
we can tell people no.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so-
In fact, there are people we have to tell no just because we don't have the bandwidth sometimes. So
we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely.
that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about what we're doing here is because so the company that we're working with, you'll find out eventually. When they started quoting this out, they're doing like a special edition kind of knife and then a regular knife, and the special edition knife is going to be Damascus. And we were like, where do you want the Damascus from? And they're like, well, we don't really know. They were kind of like, does it matter? As long as it's good
They
stuff.
threw out a name that I
was
I used
immediately
before.
like, nope.
I used before, and I'm like, okay, I'll use them, but you're gonna pay me for 100 more pieces, but you're only getting this many pieces. And they're like, well, that's not no, that's not going to work. I'm like, I know, because
That's
when I
what we're
used
gonna
them,
deal with.
when I used them, we had to throw that many pieces away because we couldn't use them. And so I'm like, if you're willing to do that, then I'm willing to run the way. Then he's like, well, who would you use? And I'm like, all right, we'll use Vegas Forge. And they're like, well, give me some pricing. And then we'd give them pricing, and they're like, no, we can't do that. I'm like, Craig, fuck.
Yeah, we got pricing from a couple of different places.
I'm like, get a hold of Jessie, tell him we have to change these. We have to do this. See if if we can make it work. And then finally they said, all right, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger on it. And so
that was awesome. When they were like, okay, let's do this. I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but
this is gonna be cool.
But most of us have been through that, where paying that little extra saves you a lot.
Oh,
It saves you
absolutely.
headaches.
Yep.
Like it's worth it.
Well, and when you use it as a selling point, like it's just going to make it that much more valuable. And it's a special edition knife for them. It's a big deal, and I don't mean just for them. Like I get why it's a big deal. And so for them to kind of go back and forth and be like, you know what? Yeah, let's do this. Like I think that was a good decision. I think that they're going to sell out fast. The quality is going to be there. The price is going to be there. Everything's going to be there for them.
But it's all going to depend on, of course, the companies that are together. But having these guys here too to do the shoot that we're going to do, all that is just gonna make it flow so right that I know they're gonna sell out fast.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I
They will.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they will for sure.
We've had. I just wrote an email last Thursday to a company that denied the bid we gave them. I was like, hey, I totally understand because I get it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
I totally understand. Just don't be afraid to reach back out to us if you have any problems with the steel that you do choose, Damascus you do choose, because I can guarantee you won't have failures. Whatever you cut, we'll grind, it'll clean up. Yeah. And that they come back. It might be a year or two,
But
they'll come back, yeah.
So for those people out there, I mean, most of our listeners are familiar with it, but for those that aren't, what is Damascus? Because I've told people about Damascus, and not everybody knows what it is. I've had to explain.
And it's crazy because even at Blade Show, when you go to Blade Show, you feel like everybody should know about blades. But there's so many people that go to Blade Show just because they heard there's a knife show. Mm-hmm. And they'll fly from across the country to go to a knife show, but don't know what 1095 is, don't know what a 154 stainless steel is, don't know what Damascus steel is. They're there to learn, which I get it. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
They want a good knife. They want to buy the best knife, they think. And so...
So even though this isn't an interview show, what is Damascus for those that don't know, and what are some problems that Damascus can have that usually steels don't?
Well, you have so Damascus is basically taking two different types of steel. Steel has different colors. Every steel has different colors. So you have like 304 steel, stainless steel, which is real shiny. And then you'll have let's say AEBL, which is a stainless steel but has more carbon, so it's a little darker. So Damascus is basically combining two or more different steels together, fusing those steels together, and by doing that, when you fuse them, draw them out into a billet, you get different colors in the billet, and then you get basically a pattern out of the steel. So combining two steels into one and creating a pattern, we use up to I think four is the biggest. We have 4 different alloys that we use in one pattern. But that would be does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of.
It does. And so, I guess I sort of know, but I just want to throw this in. The more folds, the more the pattern.
Yeah, folds. So folds will be. We don't fold anything because when you're folding, you don't want any oxidation in between the layers when you fuse them.
Yep.
So if you hammer it, and there's guys that you can make it a lot faster. You can make 10 times as much if you're just folding. And you really can only do that with carbon steels. You can't do that with stainless. You can't fold stainless. It won't stick to itself after it's folded. So imagine if I got a big chunk of steel, I hammer it, and then I got a 1-inch thick by 20-inch long chunk, and then you fold it over and then hammer that back together. That would be folding. But in that, even if you do it really well, you're still going to get little, like guys will.
And that's the problem that we would have. We would have little pits.
Yeah.
You start grinding, you start getting this pit in it. The more you grind, the bigger it gets.
So is that like pockets of air? Or
Basically, yeah. Like if you want real clean steel, for steel to fuse, you want it just perfectly clean. And if it heats up, it's going to have oxygen. It's going to scale, and then you're going to have scale in between those clean layers, and that won't stick. So some of the layers might stick, or some, let's say this is two layers. You might have scale here and here and here, and then when you stick it, the rest of it will stick, but these spots won't. So when you actually grind into them, they'll show up. Yeah.
So do you guys have to surface grind everything you guys like pound out?
Well, if we draw something out and we're going to restack it, then we would surface grind it. So like San Mai, where we make San Mai, which is a jacket of Damascus with the core of something solid. We'll draw those, forge those billets out of Damascus, surface grind them, take that core material like L-Max or MagnaCut, and then put that in the center, and then restack it in a can and refuse it. Damn. So the way we make Damascus, we buy really thin layers of steel, we wash everything, we stack them up all together, then that makes the layer count. Or if you're folding it, you can start with just 6 layers of steel, real thick, let's say it's 1/4-inch chunks of steel, fuse those together, draw them out, fold it, draw it out, fold it, and then all of a sudden you can have 200 layers because you're doing that. Right.
You let compounding do its thing.
Yeah. So when you guys do it, you don't cut and stack much. You get your layer count kind of from the get-go.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of our patterns, the basic patterns are just flat layers. That's like you see random or ladder. The kind of the traditional patterns you see. Right. That's just flat layers stacked up and then manipulated in a different way. But then we have the exotic patterns, which is 1,200 pieces, like little 1/8-inch rods that we stack inside of a canister, real tight, and then put the lid on it and then fuse that. So the exotic patterns have, like spirograph, that's 1,200 pieces.
So is it similar to those hard candies that you've seen those, right? Like that taffy almost that they cut. So they form a smiley face, or they form something, and then when they stretch it out and they cut it, it has a figure in a small little.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the ones that they do with the.
Yeah.
What? You've never
seen
that?
But that sound effect was awesome. Dude, can you do that again?
Can you put that on there so you can hit it? And
Yes. To wet
like
to
the
the west side.
candy they roll up or they heat up.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, obviously not the same process, but is it like the same concept?
Yeah,
Or
I guess so.
Similar concept.
Fusing things together. Yeah. So with Damascus that we make, it's how you stack the material. So what pieces you use, if it's flat layers or little pieces. Then also, how do you draw it out? Do you draw it out this direction or on its side? Do you twist it? Do you press it? So there's how it's stacked, and then how do you manipulate the stack? Or the layers?
that's pretty cool.
Nice.
I always found it much easier if someone's in the shop to explain it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Like you guys are more familiar with Damascus than
Yeah.
my friends or family would be. And like they'll be looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, and we'll I mean, we probably won't roll in footage into this episode, but if you're listening to this episode in a couple months, or I guess probably by the end of 2023, we'll have some videos and some stuff out where you'll be able to see a lot of what we're talking about.
Yeah. And another company might have some videos. And
Yes. Yes. There will be some stuff out there that we'll be able to direct you to.
Yeah. Are there? I mean, we could ask this over there, but is there stuff that is like a trade secret for you guys that you don't want us showing, or?
There has been, and actually just created an ad for Blade West. It's not really giving too many secrets, but how we fuse the material has been the biggest innovation since I took over, since we started Vegas Forge, is how do we fuse it. So we work with some engineers in California that do some high-end aerospace stuff and learn from them what it really takes to fuse steel right.
Right, instead of getting them pockets, yeah.
Yeah. And so we have it's a vacuum system that we use. So a lot of people pump argon in. A lot of people do a vacuum, but they do a vacuum like kind of half-ass. So we were using a vacuum from the beginning, but we kept getting like the last 6 inches of the billet would be split apart, and it was just driving me crazy.
That's going to add up. That's a lot of money you're just throwing away by tossing that.
Like there were like 5 patterns that we did that the last 6 inches would just have cracks, and it just was like, well, if there's cracks there, then all that shit, this is a custom podcast.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, you're good.
Yeah, he said fuck like 17 times.
I said it a couple times, so you're good.
Shit's fine.
I just imagine there being, if you were to X-ray the steel, there was probably cracks all the way through, and so
it wouldn't make you feel comfortable just sending it out.
No, it also hurts. Like that 6 inches that's like $150 worth of steel if we were to be able to sell it. And so I worked with these guys. The first time I brought him a can that we had, showed him how we did it, he like laughed.
Ouch.
He laughed at me.
That's fucked up.
It's messed up if he doesn't offer a solution.
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah,
he
if
did.
he offers us a solution, then it's not.
Then it's not as bad.
No.
Yeah.
Well, there's like some Russian engineer guys, so it's just kind of how they are.
They're straight.
They're straight, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I love. At first I was like, and the guy that introduced me to him, he let me know before these guys are real straight, like, and I can handle that. I appreciate that more than like.
Yeah, then somebody's
Than the
fake. You're right.
yeah.
You're right. Yep.
I agree.
So yeah, he laughed, and then we worked with him on a bunch of stuff, and he kind of gave us the numbers that we needed, what level of vacuum, and so I built a machine because the machine at the time to buy something that would vacuum the cans like we needed was like $30,000, and so I just built one.
That's awesome.
Which took
I've done
That's
that.
what we lo- yeah.
I've done
We
that.
love
I've done that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which took a lot of. It's like so simple now that I go back and think about it, but you buy the wrong tubes, you buy the wrong fittings, and things would leak or. Yeah, so we built that machine, and then we stopped having any problems with that 6 inches. And so now I know that material, and then we're also able to twist. So we take like that spirograph pattern that has 1,200 pieces. We could never twist it; it would just twist apart. That's because it wasn't fused right.
Okay.
So now we can do all these extra things with materials, fuse basically anything that we would, as long as it heat treats together well, then we can fuse it. So we have some things coming up like some titanium with some some carbon probably, or even with stainless. I'm looking to innovate a little bit.
We're looking to make some stuff that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, titanium with
Yes.
stainless.
That's
titanium
cool.
with carbon. Hold a good edge, but people want to stick it in salt water, and that's where you get the shit talking, I guess.
Yeah, but
I just got to
still,
play
it's-
with the heat treat because when you harden it and one steel expands and the other doesn't, then that's where you get.
Oh, then you're gonna have some problems. Yeah.
Is titanium the one that showers like really white sparks?
Yeah. So at the beginning, we were trying to make some little custom knives or whatever, and there was I remember where Mike was getting these little strips of titanium, and then we could cut them, and then I pretty much had to grind the handle in them, and they're going to be skeletonized, and then we had to grind the blade on them. The most awesome picture you've ever seen. Them sparks just white, big
they're
sparks.
cool, yeah.
Cool, but pain in the ass. It was pain in the ass.
Fire starter for sure. If you have like the on our grinders, we have those vacuums.
Yep.
That shit will catch on fire every once in a while.
Yeah, dude, that's why we'd put buckets with water so they hit the water first, and then it sucks leave the vacuum on top.
You guys use Zerk at all?
I don't think so.
I've never
Zirconium.
No, never have.
No. Yeah. That's even it'll shoot white and then pop.
Oh shit!
Sparklers.
Right on. So John has a question. John's saying
When you twist the steel, does it create pockets as well?
If
Is what John.
before you twist it's not
eloquently
like
asked.
if it's not perfectly round or close to round, then you will get like let's say you twist a square bar, then you will get all those layers that just the corners that wrap around each other. So yeah, we get it. If we get it real round, then you get maybe like a 30-second
Oh, dang.
of a crease that we expect to grind to turn off on the lathe. Yeah,
So
in the
when
beginning
you-
we turned square in the beginning, and then we would just machine all that off. It's just such a waste. But yeah, you would if it was square.
so like a custom maker that's doing like a twist. When a lot of times, because like when you watch Forge and Fire or you see guys on YouTube or whatever doing that, they don't usually have a fully round bar. Usually it's rectangular or square-ish. So basically, in order for that to work right, they've got to grind a bunch of that down to get it back to like a uniform.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you put like flux, which we never use flux, but flux is what you would use if you're folding. You would pour flux all over your
pour
hot
flux.
billet, and then you'd fold that over, and then you'd hammer
See,
it.
that's the Damascus I'm used to. Well, I was used to seeing being made where they go and then they fold, and and then sometimes they do flux, and and if it wasn't sticking, and that the Damascus that I was seeing, that I remember seeing being made.
Yeah. Flux is how you can. If you're folding stuff, you're using flux.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. Like
That-
I used it
that
once.
helps.
It also destroys your forge depending on what material your forge is built out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mess, and it's not a perfect process.
So that's supposed to just help it keep it from scaling. Basically, it
Yeah.
just prevents the scale from forming.
Yeah, like it's like if you heat glass up, kind of, it's like a real gummy. When it heats up, it's real gummy. So then you fold that steel over, you got a gummy layer, and then when you hammer it, it basically just like squirts everything out
And
as,
you hit it
as it sticks.
and once you hit it, it just flies out. That
So
thing
when you see those
hits you,
Damascus
it's-
guys hitting them with a hammer and all
That's a
the
lot.
sparks are flying out like crazy, that's
well,
from
the
the
big
flux?
sparks, that's flux.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's nasty stuff. But if you're doing carbon steel and you're doing your backyard, like that's how you do it, and that's how you can make it work.
Gotcha.
We were trying to make a product that was just reliable, because you send like the stuff we send you guys. If half that stuff you had problems with, that sticks with you.
Yeah,
Which
that's
obviously the guys, whoever you got it from before, which I think I know, but yeah, it's just not worthy of production level for a company that has a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then,
Are there a lot of companies making Damascus?
On a large scale, I don't think so.
on a large scale, I know two. Two of my. Yeah, there's I think
I mean, there's a few,
there's
but there's
three.
not a lot.
Yeah, that I know. There's I think three.
Yeah, in the States, it's like me. I feel like it's just me and Chad Nichols. You got Damascus Steel, which is kind of a different thing, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's solid stuff too. Damascus Steel is a good product. Then you got like Ballback or something in Germany. There's some companies.
There's
out
one
of-
more.
out of the
There's one
country.
more.
There's one in
There's
Russia.
One more.
There's at least one dude in Russia.
Alabama.
Russia is Latinox.
I think
Alabama,
so, yeah.
the Alabama Damascus.
Yeah, Alabama, I guess, because they just do carbon stuff, but
They don't really do the stainless steel mixes you're doing.
I don't think they do any stainless.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. No, they do.
They do stainless now?
They do. No, they don't. They don't. There was a place out of Montana where when we did the stainless steel Tracker 2s. I got it out of Montana, but it wasn't a big company. It was a guy that I think all he could give me at a time was like 25 bars.
Yeah, there's guys
At
that
a
do,
time.
there's like Mike Norris makes cool stuff.
God, I can't remember that guy's name. He came down, the last 25 pieces he made for us, he came down to bring him to us so we could meet him. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, there are smaller. I can't remember
there
them all, but you guys know Mike Norris. He makes sick stuff. I think he's just kind of by himself. Maybe him and the guy. So it's not.
And, see,
production
and
level.
I know a lot of people, but by name I suck. I'm bad at names.
Yeah, if he sees a picture, he'll.
But if I see a picture, I know where I'm at.
I'm bad with faces and names, so I don't. It's not a good thing.
They just all start to, especially after so many shows.
Yeah.
They just blend in.
Yeah, I can tell like where I met him, the show I met him, but the name I'm bad.
That name sounds familiar, but
Yeah, come here.
I'll just lip sync for you. Thank you. So, just because I was reading about this the other
Tell
day.
everybody you're John.
Oh, hey guys, my name is John. I'm the videographer. So there's like right now the steels and stuff. They're, for example, we use 1095 because it's easy to sharpen,
It's not easy to sharpen.
easier to sharpen.
it's easy to sharpen for customers once
Right.
they need to resharpen
But
it.
we have we use it because of X reasons, and we know the pros and the cons. When it comes to like Damascus, when you sell it, for example, I want to buy X style that you have, is there like, obviously stainless and carbon have their pros and cons, but do you know if I buy this in Damascus, this stainless steel in Damascus, it's going to perform this much better than regular stainless steel? Or how do you gauge that?
There's always going to be, so what we're making is more aesthetics. So we're mixing steels with, you got to mix something that has more brightness, like nickel for carbon, or like with stainless, it'd be like 304 or 302 we're mixing it with. So you're going to have, and we only mix about 10%, the composition of the Damascus is about 10% of the bright contrasting steel, and then 90% of the hardenable steel.
Yeah, that's what makes the knife.
Okay.
That's what's gonna make the edge. That's what's gonna get your temper. That That's what
Okay,
That's
that
and
makes
that's
sense.
why he's saying when you draw it out, you got to draw it out the right way based on what you're making, or you're going to end
because you
up
don't
with
want
the wrong steel on the edge.
you don't want high carbon steel just on one side.
Right.
So
So when you're making these, you're taking all that in consideration.
Yeah, we're only mixing just the minimum. Is so like I said, it's under 10%. Some are like 6, some are 8% of the non-hardenable steel, and then the rest is the hardenable. And so, like, if you were to look at it with a microscope, you would see like micro serrations on the blade's edge after, let's say, you used it a few times. You might see little serrations where the 302 would cut into that blade edge.
Yeah.
You might see that, but it's so minimal that no one ever notices the difference. But you get like what you're getting is a badass blade with some badass steel that was both were custom made by badass companies.
yeah, and to be honest,
Yeah.
I know there is crazy fucking guys out there, but you get a custom Damascus blade. You're not gonna go destroy that fucking thing in the hills like you do with Tops knives when you grab it and you want to break and you want to prove Tops that they can break your knives. You're not doing that because you're paying the money for it. But also, there is guys that will do it just to prove that Vegas Forge still sucks, and you got those guys. But if they're putting that high carbon in there to hold that edge, to hold that, then it's
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I know, like, I was looking at like, oh, what's the benefits of like LMAX or Magna Cut, and then the guy, instead of saying like this one's better than this one, like this one has these pros, and then it falls in this kind of category, and then this one has
because
these pros.
for a while, you never heard of stainless steel Damascus for a long time.
That's
And for
fairly
me
recent.
personally, like I said, for me personally, they say stainless steel Damascus, and I think of Vegas Forge because that's where I started like using it more or seeing it more. Knowing these guys, and for me was I knew that guy in Montana that did the ones for the trackers, and that was it. That's all I knew. Maybe there was 100 guys out there. I didn't know them.
Yeah.
But for me, this is what I knew, and so, yeah.
Are you familiar with San Mai?
Well, I've heard it because of he's gonna kill me when he finds out, the designer of Armado. Ooh. I just spaced his name.
Oh, that sucks for you. Yeah.
He was in Forge and Fire, and he kind of explained San Mai
yeah.
and
Dang.
fuck, what is his
Wow.
name?
You don't even know who he is. That's
I have it on my tongue, man.
No, we're not
His
gonna even
name
tell you.
is
Don't
yeah.
tell
So
him.
anyway,
Tell me.
No, we're not going to tell you.
so San Mai came from Japan originally.
He was just with him, and
I know,
Or is
that's
that
what he's
more
gonna
of
be.
I
a
should probably know more about that, but I would say when I think of Samurai, I think of like a samurai sword.
Okay.
Correct.
That's what I would think of. That's more of like cladding, where you got just one type of steel. Because if I remember right, the core would be really brittle and hard, and if it was just all that type of steel, then the blade would just break.
Yeah.
So they put softer steel on the side as cladding.
Because I seen some steel.
That's
You
what a
guys,
samurai sword is. So you
I
can
s-
have the hardness of the core and the softness of the side.
I seen some steel you guys made for some kitchen knives for that company in Idaho Falls. For I think it was for Christmas. That thing was ick.
Josh, that's his name. Sorry, Josh.
There you go. Good
Fuck.
job, John.
I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's Josh Navarrete. I don't know if you know him.
Josh?
Josh Navarrete. He was in Vegas on Forge and Fire.
He won his.
He won his. Yeah, he's always at
He's
the
from
Blade
Oregon.
shows. He's from Oregon.
I'd probably recognize him if I
You
saw him.
would.
Yeah,
You would. I know
Yes.
you would.
And
But yeah,
he's the one that kind of explained the San Mai.
yeah, we're bringing a knife out with him. He's
So
pretty sick.
San Mai, like the differential heat treat that we do is almost a way of doing a similar kind of thing.
Right.
Because you end up with a spine that's softer than the edge. That's what makes San Mai strong. Is you get the sides, and sometimes they'll put the core into like a folded up piece of soft stuff, and then sometimes they'll just have 3 pieces, and then the middle is the hardenable stuff. So it's a similar kind of concept. You get that softer steel that has some flex in it and won't snap when it is stressed too far.
Right.
That's the same kind of thing as like a differential heat treat.
And at first, when I started using the Vegas Forge, Vegas Damascus, I thought I had to get this, fancy oven, and I'm trying to get a whole Paragon,
Like a crazy
because
heat treat equipment, yeah.
we bought a bunch of steel from you guys at the Texas, and so and I'm looking at Paragon, and I'm looking at my brother like, bro, I can heat treat that shit in your forge. like
You don't need anything that's
And
special.
he's the one
yeah.
that does all the heat treat for them over there. And so he's like, I can do that. He's like, I'll show you. I'm like, all right.
So the Damascus comes heat treated to a certain rock wall, and then you still have to heat treat it to a higher one, or how does that work? Maybe it's just my.
What is the Rockwell on a bar stock?
We anneal everything after, so we'll forge it.
They'll rub it down.
Do overnight annealing, so it's as soft as it can get, and then we'll surface grind it. So normally, unless the customer requests, which we don't heat treat.
You don't heat treat prior.
No, we'll send it off. If someone wants to heat treat it, we'll send it off. We'll basically get them with the heat treater, and they can coordinate.
And that's
that
more of the custom makers that want that.
It's like it's an art in itself, heat treating.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I heat treat we heat treat our own stuff but I wouldn't trust. I'm not an expert, so I wouldn't heat treat somebody's stuff.
So how different is it, for example, if you're sending steel out for like someone that's making knives or someone that's making golf clubs? Is it the same process or?
No, I mean like rings and stuff. You can get away with a ring if you just get it close to finish and then flame it till it's orange.
Okay.
That'll that's enough. But a blade's totally different. Yeah, you got to heat treat, harden, and then temper and.
But I mean, when it is your building, it's the same.
Like for a knife, like say for the steel you sent us, and the steel you sent for putter, same hardness that you sent out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That'll vary depending on the steels you use too, right?
Yeah.
So like, because some of the steel that's in it isn't hardenable in the first place. So when he's saying he's annealing it, you're getting it up to like a certain temperature. You just leave it there overnight until and then it'll slowly cool down once the furnace turns off.
So when we do that, when we have blades that are long and they bend, we'll do the same thing where we get them back to heat and then just leave them outside and let them just sort of.
Do you know what annealing is? Do you know what that word means? So it's just softening the steel.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when you heat treat it, you cool it down rapidly, and that's what forces this like high hardness into it.
Yeah.
And when you anneal it, you get it up to a pretty high temperature. What is it like? It's close to forging temperature, isn't it? Like pretty high.
I always answer hardening questions, but the annealing cycle's just been programmed in that thing for so long.
I think it's pretty high.
I want to say it's 14.
I think you're going about 1,400.
14 or so. And so it sits there for several hours or however long, like overnight kind of deal. Mm-hmm. And then as it cools down more slowly, because you just leave it in the oven once you turn it off.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a 12-hour cycle of it running, and then it takes like 4 hours for it to cool off too. So you have to slowly cool it. You slowly get it to temp, and then slowly cool it off like 100. I think it's like 100 degrees an hour.
Oh, okay.
And then once it gets to like 1,200 degrees or something like that, it
just turns off.
Turns off, and then it slowly cools down. You have to wait till it's like 300 degrees, and then you can take it out.
Oh,
yeah. So all that's doing is just pulling all that stress and all the hardness out of it, and it's still going to be probably harder than it was when they started, but not much. Like it's pretty soft.
How long does that process take? 'Cause I ran into one of your videos a while ago, and it was kind of like walking through the steps, and there was a step that you guys were at like a sink. Were you guys sanding it, or like what were you guys?
The sink was probably like etching it.
Was it?
Yeah, probably.
Probably after acid that we'd sink. That's normally what we'd, other than washing the material before we fuse it. But
how long does that, like the whole process take? Like, can you do a bar, or I don't know how you guys? I guess we'll see it tomorrow. But for someone that doesn't know,
it's like if you're gonna do, let's just say random pattern, probably take 2 hours to cut, wash, and stack. So we buy our steel in like coils. So it's like 20 thousandths thin, 4 inches wide, and then it's in these 1,000-pound coils. So we'll take that and we'll chop up 200 layers, and those all get washed. We do have a washer now, but we still have to hand dry them. I haven't figured out how to dry them without blowing. You just want that material like really clean. So drying actually guarantees that the material is clean too, because we can see it. We're washing it or drying it. And you stack it. So all that, stack those layers up, build a can, TIG weld the can all up. That's probably like 3 hours total. Then like 45 minutes to heat up, 5 minutes to fuse, and then you're into the chopping it up. So I don't know, like probably 8 hours for 6 billets.
Oh damn! So it's a slower.
Yeah, that's what people don't
Is that a slower
understand.
process?
That's why Damascus costs what it costs. Like tomorrow, you're gonna understand way better why it costs what it costs.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else. This is what I want to kind of get out there because I'm just like a perfectionist. So, but if you're not TIG welding the can, you're not pulling a good enough vacuum for an X-ray. There's probably gonna be a difference because there was on our material at the end of the bars when it was all breaking. And we have had X-rays done. I wish I just don't want to throw people under the bus when I buy a bunch of people's material and get it all X-rayed. But in the end, people come back to us, so it works out for us.
Yeah.
But it's a process.
Can you take us all out of they're telling me that I'm going to roast tomorrow. Is it true? Yeah, I'm going to die.
No, what I said, that we're going to get you next to a forge and I'm going to spin you.
We're just going to slowly spin you around.
Just like roasting a pig.
No!
Yes,
I've never said that.
It's just
He said
again.
Oh, fuck. Am I going to die of heat tomorrow?
Oh, man.
It's not too bad. If you're forging and you're back and forth in that front of that forge, that's where it's hot. It gets warm in the shop, but it's really right 6 feet around the forge.
See, told you guys.
So at times, if you're trying to get the right shot and you're going to be close to the forge.
Second question:
Yeah,
can I wear
we're gonna-
shorts?
Yeah.
No.
See, they're like, oh, you're getting stuff flung in your legs.
So what I told you, this is what I said. The forges I've been, there's shit flying when they're pounding. That's what I said, didn't I? Mm-hmm. I'm like, how they do it, I don't know.
Do you guys have a lot of shit flying?
Yeah.
Dude, I overheat so hot. I don't know.
He's sweating,
You know
he's
what?
sweating right now.
That's
He's
why
just
he
sitting
wanted
there.
to come on the podcast
Yep.
to ask just those questions.
Yeah, well, I
Those
was
were
trying
the
to get
questions he
there,
had.
man.
John.
Fuck, I'm
You
sorry.
knew who forges in shorts. If you're forging in shorts, you're a wild man. But Chad Nichols
Right?
always forges in
Yeah,
shorts and
yeah.
boots.
See?
I'm always in shorts.
Yeah, but Chad Nichols does this. You never even been in the forge.
Yeah, when
You're going to get one little spark on your leg and you're going to cry about
right,
it
guys, I
all
gotta
day.
Just
I
start
got all these scars in this part of my hand are all from burns from scale going down gloves.
Oh, man.
And this would be all cuts. But right here, it's all just burn marks.
Okay, I'm gonna take a pair of shorts just in case. I don't see it's too bad, and I'm dying of heat. And you see me changing the.
This
Dude,
kid,
I just don't
this
know
kid
why,
dies
man.
of heat in the AC.
I'm going to
doing
have
like-
him sign 2 liability forms tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I'm like, why guys can't get it? Like, why can't we go to Alaska where it's nice and cold or something like
should have told
that?
the Vegas forge to move up there.
Yeah, you should,
And then
should
try
try to
the
make a
Alaska
location in Alaska.
Rename it Anchorage Forge.
There you go. Hey, dude, that's our idea right there. Capitalize on it.
That's the cold. The cold's rough, too. Even here in Vegas in the winter, it takes like 4 hours for the shop to heat up.
Really?
How cold does it get here usually?
I mean, yeah, it's not as cold as Alaska, but it'll get, at night, it'll get 30, 40 degrees most nights.
Oh, that sounds so perfect.
But those thick concrete walls, it just like holds that.
I hold that.
It holds the
Yeah,
temperature well.
Does your
yeah.
wall start sweating and stuff too? Like when it starts going from cold to hot?
I haven't noticed that, no.
It's too dry here, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
There's probably not enough moisture in the air for that to even happen.
Because in Ensenada, that's the same thing. There's no heaters in the houses, but they're all concrete. And you start getting those days that start getting cold, and you touch the wall, and it's just like
Trenching.
wet.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. Which that'd be rough. I don't know how some of the guys that do what we do in the South and stuff, one, it's just that I'm just not used to that heat, but the steel rusting and all that, I would think that'd be a problem, but
Yeah, the humidity there being so
The
high
humidity.
all the time.
yeah.
That'd be rough.
that's messed up.
That's a whole nother thing to deal with.
Because even all our carbon steel, the coils and stuff, they'll get a little bit of rust dust just in our shop.
Really.
And it's obviously dry and nothing's ever getting wet. It's sitting there long enough.
It's just how it works.
Do you guys have anything like to deal with that, or is it just kind of like if it happens, it happens? You guys have to take care of it.
Yeah, and that little bit of rust dust isn't like the biggest issue with fusing. I don't know what it is about rust that doesn't. Like I've fused when we do like we'll bring people in. We'll have a bunch of material that's been cut. It's really when it's cut and washed and then it sits the carbon material. That's when it gets rusty. Otherwise, it's coated in oil.
I seen a post you guys posted that you guys are gonna start doing classes.
We just do the class every year before USN. before the
Oh,
show.
that's what it's for. I thought this was something that you're gonna continue to do like weekly or something.
No, we try to do a class thing, but it's too hard lining people up. Like everyone's got their own schedule, so
Right. Yeah.
it wasn't worth the effort really. If we were like right by the strip and we could just get people right off the strip, then maybe we could have done that.
Something. Yeah.
But no, just 2 days. The 2 days before USN, we'll have 8 people each day that can sign up, and we do it then. And if someone has like a group of people, like 6 or 8 people, 6 or more, then we'll schedule a time to do it. It's just I'm not going to try to schedule these guys' schedules.
And what does that class consist of? Like, what do you do? Like, say I get 6 of my guys, and we're going to Vegas Forge. What are we getting, or what are we doing?
So we'll pre-cut. So we do the carbon because we don't like to show people exactly how we make stainless.
Yeah, correct.
And carbon's just faster and easier, and we can do it all right there. You can MIG weld the can and everything else to TIG weld it. So it just is more practical. But we'll get 1095, 1075, and nickel. So those 3 types of layers. We'll get them all cut and washed 2-inch by 4-inch little pieces.
Oh, no.
All cut and washed, ready to go. And then everybody comes. Everyone has their own stacks of material. They stack their own Damascus can, put it all inside the can. We TIG weld them up, fuse it, draw it out into whatever, width or thickness somebody wants. And then after we're done doing that, then everyone leaves. We'll anneal it, surface grind it, and send it to them.
Oh, so
So
they
basically
get,
like
a pretty much a bar stock, pretty much a piece that.
Yeah, like a $400 pound-wise that we would sell. It's like $400 value.
Oh, badass.
We only charge $300 for the class just because it's just fun to have people over, and
That's cool.
they're doing the work too, so that's discount there.
If they don't do it on Labor Day weekend next time, I'm down to bring the guys down and do that.
Oh yeah, come down.
Well,
anytime.
you were saying if we get like a group of 6 guys, we could do it. We could plan it a month or 2 in advance.
Plan
or
it in
something.
January. Is that what you're saying?
Fuck yes.
I know what he was getting at.
February, March, just.
I'm saying
Yes.
before he shot or something.
I mean, yeah.
You guys come
before
down,
shot
you
it'd be
guys-
rough, but like just during the winter, yeah.
You guys come down anytime. If it's just you
appreciate
two or just a few of you, like the same rules won't apply to you. As
John's like,
Fuck. Was it because I asked about the shorts?
Like us two, Jesus, a couple other guys. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
There was this knife. I forgot what show it was. I think it was a blade, but they were doing that whole. The steel of the knife was something from like a meteor that landed. I don't know if you guys remember that.
like
They were
meteorite Damascus.
something like that. They were like it was the whole thing.
That's not super common, but it's not uncommon.
Have you done a project like that? That you're like some rare ass shit like.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually just bought this machine that like those machines that you see that throw like a scooter in and it'll chop it up.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
this
Oh
thing.
yeah, those big cutter machines.
Yeah, because we fused meteorite with carbon and nickel. It just didn't look cool because it was chunky, and we never. I don't know. I just didn't dig it.
yeah.
And so, and to make it good too, we just had to basically chart, like make it turn into shards.
Oh,
And so I'm
okay.
hoping this machine. I got the claws. Now I need to get the motor attached to it, and I can drop the meteorite chunks, and hopefully turn it into like little shards, and then we can throw it in some powder and.
Dude,
Trying to make
that's
that look cool. We did
Yeah.
it's been a year since probably 4 years ago we did worked on a project for a guy trying to do it,
Oh, for real.
and it wasn't going to work because we were like using our bandsaw to cut up little chunks of meteorite, and it still was real chunky.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on the meteorite too, because not every rock that falls from space is made out of something you can turn into a knife. Like a lot of it it has to have like a high enough iron content.
Oh, okay. It has to. So you couldn't get like
if it's not metal, if it's just a rock, it's not gonna.
you
It's
couldn't
not
get
gonna
like
work.
obsidian and crush it up like shards, like you said, and try to infuse it.
No, that doesn't have enough metal in it.
Yeah, even that meteorite, a lot of it would be real rocky. The cheaper stuff is real rocky, and the stuff we had was like we're working with a company, a real high end jewelry company, and they gave us their scraps, and it was like the nicest meteorite I've ever seen. It's like almost zero rock in it at all.
Oh, that's sick.
Otherwise, you could process it, but more and more you process it, the more you lose that Widman-Staten pattern that's in the meteorite. It's like those lines like you see in Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you process it, the more you lose that. So we were trying to maintain that pattern. It was cool. You could still, even in Damascus, even though it's chunky, you could still see that pattern in those little chunks. I thought it was dope.
So you guys did end up making something.
Yeah, we
out
made
of-
some round bar, sent it to them. All right, in the email, I'm sending this to you, but I personally don't think it looks that cool. Yeah. And they didn't. That's not what they were looking for. So, and then that was, we were busy and trying to figure out how to grind that meteorite up in a better way. Just wasn't time to do it.
Yeah.
But no, it'd be cool if you get a real high end piece, thin slices, and then make some like San Mai out of it or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So there was a guy that reached out to us that he said he had some, I think he said like 1/8-inch slabs or something. And if we could make something, and he mentioned something about his dad, or he was going to give it to his dad, or I never heard from him, but
That's cool.
crazy.
It's cool having something from space. I have a ring. One of our customers, they use meteorite and they send it to me. It's just cool. It's like this is just for space.
Yeah, I remember there was a huge commotion about that knife. I haven't heard anything else.
I
think
think
it was
I know who
Blade
you're
Texas,
talking
dude.
about.
Last year, I honestly think that's where it was.
I can't remember who it is, but I think I do. Was it a kitchen knife?
I think so.
If it was, I think I know who you're talking about. But
I just remember it was like a huge deal. Like Blade was pushing the hell out of that knife. And
yeah, because I mean, like he's saying, it's not. There's rock in it. It's not just metal. There's rock in it. There's other stuff in it. If you don't get one with like a high enough metal content, you're basically you're gonna fight with it rather than make something out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I didn't know you could like that. Like you said, it was mostly like rock. You can like fuse it, so you couldn't do like silver or gold and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Like Mokume's copper, brass, and nickel. That's what we use. But Mokume's kind of any. It's not really precious metals, but Mokume could be copper, brass, nickel, silver, or it could be gold and silver and bronze, or just basically any of those softer alloys.
You want to get some gold and make me a knife?
What's like the most like high end, expensive piece of stuff you've made? Like what kind of crazy things are people asking you to do?
Gold, Damascus, Jessse.
We've been like it'd be our material to start with, but then they want us to finish out the design. So they want us to. One guy wants us. I can't wait to be able to tell people about this. This is a project that's we've been doing prototypes for a year, and now they're in production stage. But they're gonna actually we're gonna send the material we make. We're gonna send it to a guy to machine it, and then after he's done, we're gonna send it to an engraver, and he's gonna engrave like 5 of the strands of the Damascus. So he'll follow the lines.
Oh yeah.
All the way around the finished piece, and then inlay it with gold.
That'll be cool.
So that work is like twice as much as our steel is, just the inlay work.
Yeah, just the inlay work.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a knife or is it going to be some other
Some other, yeah, totally.
some completely different piece of metal?
I'll just
Right
say
on.
it's a box shape.
Fair enough. All right. Fair enough.
Yes, it's a square. It's cool. I'll show you guys this picture after. So you guys can see what it is, but
You can't publicly talk about it yet.
no, they got a lot of, you know how it is.
Oh yeah.
We know how
Yes,
that
we
goes.
do.
Yeah, that's sick.
Right on. So, do you guys do much? So the titanium stuff that's usually Mokume also,
No, that's
or is that a totally different?
That's like a
thing?
different thing, yeah. So titanium, we would mix different grades of titanium or zirconium or niobium. We'd mix all those 4 ones together in different ways.
Do you do much of that?
We do quite a bit, but not. I'd say maybe it's 10%, maybe even less of what we do.
And mostly people with that kind of stuff, people are mostly doing like jewelry or like fidget type objects, things like that. They're not really making like useful tools out of things like that.
No, a lot of knife handles though.
Handles,
A
okay.
lot of folders. They're using
Oh,
for the
yeah.
handles,
I've seen the folders.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Okay.
Yeah, those guys are using that a lot. A lot of rings being made out of it, for sure. Probably those are the 2 biggest ones. We got some Damascus so we call our titanium Damascus Damtanium, which I'm just gonna start calling things as they're described, like titanium Damascus or carbon Damascus, carbon infused or copper infused. There's so many names for all this stuff. It's like people don't know what to call the things. So I'm just gonna start being detailed oriented instead of like just coming up with my own name. But
I like Damtanium. That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be a cool name to put on.
Are a lot of your patterns trial and error, or are they planned out? You're like, if I do this, this, and this, I'm gonna get this, or you're like, fuck, I'm gonna miss all this.
What happens?
Yeah,
kind of probably 50-50.
really.
A lot of times we'll take one, we've been making the pattern one way, and we'll just flip it on its side, or we'll draw it out a different direction.
And see what
Kind of
comes
have an
out.
idea what it will look like. But
So over the time you've been able to, like, if I set my canister like this, I'm gonna get this style.
yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Are there any new patterns that you're working on?
Yeah, we come out, it's been like 2 or 3 new patterns a year we've had for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, we just did, what was the new one? We did Twisted Oak, which is pretty cool. It's just like an old twisted oak tree. What was the other one? I honestly can't. We'll make a batch. We'll make a batch of it and sell it and then have it at shows or something and then don't think about it again until somebody asks for it. Or
Do you patent these designs, or are they just?
No, we looked into it, but
It's not worth the time.
That's probably pretty
No, sometimes,
expensive.
like I say, like enjoy making it. Not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see it tomorrow because I binge watched to try to see as much
You're excited
videos there
because
is.
he said you could wear shorts.
Yeah, that too, dude. But
You just changed the whole trip for him.
yeah,
He was dreading tomorrow. He was like all bummed out.
well, I just don't want to wear.
And now he's
pants.
gonna walk. He's just gonna skip in there. He's gonna be so happy.
I told him like I'll take all my pants and my polo. Whenever it gets too hot, I'm gonna have to ditch everything and just go tank top and shorts.
I'm like the exact opposite. If I'm not in a pool, I'm not wearing shorts. I wear jeans. I was at my daughter's soccer game at like 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday, which is hot.
Yeah.
Black shirt and black pants.
This is the Idahoan kid that'll wear pants in the middle or shorts in the middle of winter.
No, come on. I have a limit. Once snow hits, I'll put my pants on. Like I have pants.
But if it's 40 degrees, you'll wear shorts.
fuck yeah, dude. My house runs at 50, 55.
That's all my point was.
Like I love the winter. I just can't deal with the heat. I was dying in Atlanta because it was hot and humid, dude. It
wasn't even that hot this
last
year.
year in Houston. I was dying too. It was the same thing. Here, I was thinking it was going to be a lot hotter, but I think I sweat more right now when I was sitting down than the whole time we were here. But
It's not too bad.
That's
This year.
because you're dehydrated. I keep trying to tell you. You've
No
had like one
chance.
bottle of water today.
no chance. But when we come for SHOT Show, it's so nice because it's not hot at all.
Oh, it's cold.
Yeah, and I love it coming down to SHOT Show.
Yeah.
But oh, man, I'm so stoked for tomorrow. But anyways, what I was saying is, I was trying to see like how the process goes online, but I was trying to binge watch as much as I can. And there's some videos out there, but I bet there's a lot of things that are out there that were filmed back in the day. Now are a lot of like different because like those canisters you were saying, I don't think. Well, obviously, I wasn't going to see anything that you guys pressurize them or you take the pressure
Vacuum?
out, the vacuum them. Yeah, I didn't see any of that, but I'm excited to see because you guys weld the can, and then is there like something that pulls out the pressure out of it, or how does?
Yeah.
Can you even talk about? You can't talk.
Yeah,
about
it's a machine we have that pulls the vacuum.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you guys didn't have it back then. This is something more recent.
No, we've been using it since probably 2017. I remember I did the first ProTech order. His first order we got was ProTech. And it was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But after that, so it's probably about 2017 that we were using it on everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe then. Yeah, the video was.
But we never would, that was like,
You would have showed that either
we didn't
way.
even talk about vacuuming back then. I was so like, nervous about it. Now I'm thinking, go ahead, TIG weld every can.
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull that vacuum, figure out how to build that vacuum. So it would only, I hope people do because it would just make better products.
Yeah.
And there's enough business for everybody.
There is. Yeah, there really
I
is.
forget who said it. I think it was Ethan Becker. They said that there's not really a competition in anything because, like, if they buy something from us, they'll go buy something from the competitor, but then they'll come back and buy something from us because they're in the industry.
Yeah.
I think it's like the same concept with like what you were saying.
Yeah, if you don't piss them off or give them something shitty, then
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do quality. You'll have repetitive customers no matter what.
yeah.
Even though they really love this brand or they really love this, you always have them coming back.
Yeah. We have customers every month that are, I'm sure you guys do too, that have never used Damascus, never have looked into it. Every week they're reaching out to us. So I know there's just millions of people that to reach out to. So I never worry about the competition in that sense because there's plenty of work to be had.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I don't know how to even ask this question.
You want to wear shorts?
Like
too?
the history. So my understanding is that the history of the original Damascus steel is kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like, how close is what you're doing to that? Do you know much about that the historical part of it? Do you like? Are you interested in that? Is that part of like what got you into Damascus? Like,
Not so much what got me into, but yeah, it's like my ancestors like Vikings, and so that they were kind of known for the Damascus stuff, the Valyrian steel. But it was basically taken. I mean, I read this stuff 1,000 times. I can't ever read it for myself. But basically taking raw like ore, I think you would call it, and then heating it up and hammering it out, like basically doing the folding thing. But what you're doing is working out all the impurities. So they'd work out all the impurities. And
All the grain and stuff and tightening up the grain and all that.
yeah, and that's how you get the patterns because they're just folding. That's where you get the folding from. Basically, just working out all the impurities out of that, just raw rock and iron. And So that's kind of the original thing. The guys that were really good at it would just work out more of that, all that non-iron material out of it, and then just create a better steel. That's not a great explanation, but I read things. I'll like read something, be like, that's cool, and then probably like 15 minutes later, I'll forget half of it.
Yeah, I think the last time I read about it, they were talking about how they think that what we do nowadays is close, but there's something that they used to do that is lost because when they did like the X-rays and they looked at like the microstructure and all that, they put it under a microscope. Like what's being made now and what was being made then is not quite the same. Like there's something different about it, and they've never been able to replicate it. Yeah. I don't know if that's changed since then. That was probably 3-4 years ago that I was reading about it, but that intrigued me a lot.
Yeah, like with that work is more done by like the steel mills now.
Oh, okay.
Like we're buying pure steel, so we're not doing anything like what they were doing there. The steel guys work out all the impurities, and they got to.
So that stuff's done before you even get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What we do is nothing like that. I would say people always get real serious about the name Damascus, like we're defrauding the name Damascus. But
yeah.
It's like it's modern day Damascus. Like no one's trying to claim that.
Yeah.
But it is different. Yeah, it's just what we call it now is Damascus. Like pattern welded steel is what would be the technical name for it.
Yeah.
Of what we do, but everyone calls it Damascus. It's just what it is nowadays. Yeah. But yeah, the ancient stuff I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'd like to. I don't know. I'd like to figure that out. That'd be cool to see. That'd be cool to see somebody finally like figure that process out. I don't know. I've always just been interested in stuff like that. That's lost to history. Like I guess a lot of the people in like South America that the way they used to grow food, they would create a type of soil that they haven't been able to duplicate in modern times. And so it was like super fertile, and they could grow just about anything in it, and it was just crazy stuff, and nowadays it's just they just can't figure it out. They can't figure out how they did it. So anything like that's just like there's a thing that we wish we had that is just gone now. I don't know. That always interests me.
Yeah.
Where do you see Vegas Forge in like 10 years? Like, and I guess I want to be more specific. Like, is there like a market you're trying to conquer? Is there something new you're trying to?
Really, what we want to have a finished product of our own. That's what the gun thing's all about. So if we could like really pick who we made Damascus for, because we were so busy making it for ourselves, that would be ideal, I'd say, because then we control how much control the work that you take. So I would say that, yeah. We have like
what made you pick the gun industry over like the knife industry?
Because all my friends make knives, for one. That was the biggest one. Just like you'd be competing directly with all the people buying the stuff.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
That was a big thing. We've done like, and we still might make a run of folders or something, but to make an actual business about it, it just didn't feel right.
Do you see a big industry in the gun parts and guns? Because I'm going to call them like high end guns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you're putting that kind of steel into a gun, you're paying money for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be. I feel like and there's guys that do it. Like there's a guy that just called in, Magnum Research. He does these custom. Hopefully, he doesn't mind me talking about him.
Yeah, no.
But he does. I didn't know about him until he called in. But he does these custom Desert Eagles.
Yep.
You have one of those, don't you?
I have one of those.
Oh, you do?
Say, yeah.
I didn't even. Anyways, seeing his stuff is like, okay, there are people doing like the things that knife guys do, real customization and stuff. Like I don't know, I guess I see it more creative in the knife, more creative stuff in the knife world, where the gun world's more precision and I don't know, it's more the same, I guess. Yeah. So I thought we could bring more of that the knife stuff into the gun world, kind of get that thing going.
I'll be pretty bad. I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, as far as gun companies using Damascus, I think one of the only ones, and I haven't seen anything from them recently, is Cabot Guns.
Yeah, Cabot does a lot of cool stuff.
Is anybody else doing?
There is. They did a couple runs for. I don't remember the company, but they did some slides.
I think I remember seeing one of those slides.
Cabot, Caspian, Lone Wolf did a run. It's been a couple years.
Maybe it was Lone Wolf. Maybe that was the other
did some
one.
block slides.
Okay.
You know, it was Lone Wolf. You know where we talked to them? We talked to them at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said they were working with them.
Yeah.
It was Lone Wolf.
That's right.
Yeah. There was some miscommunication there. They machined the blocks the wrong direction, so that was a problem. But
Oh, yeah.
we told them about it. It's just a big company, and yeah. But they ended up engraving the sides because when you do Damascus like random, just you have two sides of the square that have pattern, and then top's just lines.
Yeah, it's just lines one way. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So that sucks.
Yeah. Luckily, we had the email that said, directing them towards that. But
Damn.
But yeah, there's who's the other guys that are? I guess I haven't signed NDAs or anything, but these people have bought stuff they haven't used it yet. But there are gun companies that do. They'll just do like a limited edition thing though. It's not their whole thing. Our whole thing it's called Burnin'. Is the name of the gun company we started. It's just all gun parts.
They're
out
going
of
to be
our
based
steel.
out of Vegas and Utah, or
No, just
here.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jeff will be doing he'll be doing the finished work. So we'll kind of send parts to him. He'll do the finished work, a lot of the finished work up there, and then send them back.
Oh, okay.
But we'll do it all out of the shop. So idea is we make the steel. We don't do the machining. I
There's a
have to send
company
those to
here that
buddies.
was doing a bunch of AR parts. You remember their name? We see them every.
Yeah,
every
it's
New Frontier.
yes,
Frontier,
New Frontier Army. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a buddy of ours.
Oh, cool. Years ago, we had started talking with the guy. That was like right when we started, though. I'm not ever sure what happened with that, but yeah, they do cool stuff. We're having a couple of 1911s built by 1911 guys right by the shop here, right down the street.
And you said you're launching that like really soon.
Yeah.
So we'll plug it here. What is it? It's called Burnin'.
Burnin', BURNYN. So burnin.com. So you'll be seeing on Vegas Forge. We'll be posting about it when we get it. But we got all the Glock parts, triggers, Damtanium triggers, base plates, slide plates, suppressor sights. We got AR parts. It was really cool. The receiver plate on the back. We just did a real thick one. I got some parts in the truck actually to show you guys. But
Oh, right on. Yeah.
yeah, just cool stuff.
So this come out Monday, I think, right?
Well,
Should come
probably
on Monday?
Tuesday because
Tuesday?
Monday's Labor Day,
Oh,
right?
yeah. So, I mean,
So
is it
yeah,
around
this
the
will probably
corner?
come out on not tomorrow, but next
A lot
Tuesday.
of knife people that we have. Hard gun.
Yeah, Burnin' won't be out by then, but they can just
Yeah, stay
close.
tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned to Vegas Forge. We'll be posting about it. We got a lot of cool videos too. I got to show you guys some. We put some time into some cool videos.
Right on.
Excited to get them
Right
out.
on. That's exciting. That'll be cool to see. That'll be really cool to see.
Stoked for the shorts tomorrow, and hell yeah. Dude, I'm
John,
fucking
seriously,
stoked.
you made his entire trip.
Dude, okay, I was watching the YouTube videos to see if the sparks were like.
You're wearing shoes.
Dude, fine.
As long as you got shoes, you'll be good.
There you go. See, shorts, tank top tomorrow. We'll see how it plays.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Well, we'll stay tuned to that.
Well, cool. Yeah.
Anything we didn't ask you that you wish we would have asked you?
No, I don't think so.
Perfect.
So yeah, everybody, stay tuned. This is going to be a pretty cool collab that we're. I know he still hasn't let you back.
just
Yeah, he
stayed.
took over. He just
I'm sorry.
booted you.
Sometimes I get questions. I'm like, fuck, I should ask them.
Yeah, so stay tuned for this collab that we're doing. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it'll probably
having
be a
these
couple
three
months
companies.
before any content actually gets put out there, but it's gonna be sweet.
And
And if they give us a go ahead too, you'll probably get little clips and videos of this. But it'll be cool. It'll be really cool.
hopefully you bought something for our Labor Day sale, because this would be after the Labor Day sale. So
Yeah, hopefully you
send us pictures of that.
load it up for Christmas. So. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace out, Jesse. Thanks for being on.
All right.